Hello, gorgeous. Thank you for joining us today. I'm your host, Kim Becker, and this is Hello, Gorgeous, Everything Beauty, Cancer, and Inspiration on Society Bites Radio, social interaction for the mind and soul. Our guest today is Kristi Parrott. Kristi is a 45-year-old woman. She is married and the mother of two, and she is a two-time breast cancer survivor. Kristi chooses to use laughter and love to flip the negative prognosis to a positive one in order to fight her stage 4 cancer. Her journey began in 2013, and despite the many barriers and the multiple gene mutations causing her triple negative and her positive cancers, she is still laughing, smiling, and loving life. Hi, Kristi. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Kim. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited you're here. So, the sad thing about this is we only have like 24 minutes to talk, and the last time you and I met, it went 3 hours.
Right.
So I am so excited to have you here and to share your story. I think I met you, it's been 7 years ago, maybe. And you're always a bright light in my life. So I am so excited to have you here and to share your story and to inspire our listeners. So one of the first questions that I want to ask you, because I feel that it's so important, is I want to know how you discovered your breast cancer.
Okay. Well, I actually was doing self-exams, and I had ran across a lump, and with my family history, my mom passed away at 49 of breast cancer. So it was always, and I have a family on both sides that are full of it. So it was always something that was a big concern. So I was very regular on my self-checks. Mm-hmm. I found a lump and went in. However, it was so high in my breast tissue, and it was also the mammogram can't pick it up accurately because of the location of the breast tissue. And at that point in time, it was so small that we just didn't have the resources here to be able to detect it soon enough. So I began having mammograms about every 6 months. And sure enough, within 2 years, September 2013, I was doing my regular exams, and the lump just seemed larger. Mm. And at that point in time, I went in and we found out it was a stage 4, that the lump that I had been telling them about for the last 2 years was cancer, and they just weren't looking in the right spot.
And so this is truly what I love about this story is it really is about advocating for yourself. It really is making sure that not only do you do your own self-breast exams, you have your mammograms done, but if your heart and soul tells you that this is something that you need to be concerned about, that you just need to stay on the doctors or the people in the medical profession to make sure that they hear your voice when you tell them, look, I am concerned and that we need to do something about this.
Oh, absolutely. And I would say never, never, never ignore your gut. Your gut knows. And,
I agree.
And there's lots of things that just happen in the medical field, just like in any other field, that they just don't have all the answers yet.
That's right.
And it's not personal. It's not anything like that. It's just, they just don't know. That's and right. Each one of us is such a rare being that it's impossible for them to know everything. But you do know as a patient when you're not being heard. You do know as a patient when things they're not feeling right. And that's what I would say is get up and go and find out who will listen. That's because right. Someone will.
That's
and
right.
For me, getting out, getting second opinions, going to find other doctors, getting new ideas, sometimes even going to the other side of the country.
Right. That's right.
To go where the information is, going there, getting the advice, and taking what you can from it is critical.
But that's, again, what I love about your story is that you weren't getting the answers from the doctors that you saw regularly. And so you sought out somebody else that had a little bit of a different information, and you did get some answers, which is why you're still here.
Exactly. I I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my feistiness.
That's right. That's right. Which is, and so explain to us what that is then. Is it an experimental drug?
Yes. I've been on numerous ones. And when one stops working, I move to the next.
Okay.
And now there's been several times where I've been to the spot where there was no next med. So this was it. But then you go and you make some noise.
That's right.
And if you get to the right spots, you will be able to, if there is a new med, then you can try it. There's clinical trials happening all the time, and sometimes you just got to jump in one. Sometimes you're not sure what the med is going to do to you, if it's going to make you better or worse. But to me, I would rather try everything and be an experiment, because for me, the reality is mutations cause my cancers. Mm-hmm. And I have children. Mm-hmm. So I will do whatever my mom did for me. And that was, she was the first one here in Northern Indiana to try a stem cell replacement. We had no idea at the time what that was and what effect it would have on breast cancer. But she was a tough cookie. She just went, and in her mind is, it's better to try something and fail than not try at all.
That's right.
And so that's what that mindset I take on for my own children is, let me be your guinea pig. Research me. Figure out what it is how these two mutations work together, how these drugs work on a body. Do whatever you need to do to me so that you can potentially save my kids down the road.
That's right. Well, and, I remember Michael always had a saying, which is you try something, and if it doesn't work, then you just try something else. And exactly. you just keep going until, and in today's medical odyssey, the way that it is, you don't really run out of options because there is always something new. They're always discovering something.
Well, and that's what we ran into, because when I finished in 2014 with my first round of cancer, that was one of the things is that they had mentioned that they didn't know of much more available after, because I had been so aggressive. But in that meantime, there's kids that graduated medical school, and there's people that their research just got a little bit further, and it was enough to link me to some meds that are helping.
And that's awesome, because that's what you want. You try something else with the hopes that whatever it is that will work. Now, yes. What you had said, so this is your second battle with breast cancer, correct?
Yes.
And so you and I had a discussion. This is kind of a different, which, I say this tongue in cheek because that you're different just with your attitude being so positive. But what you explained to me is this cancer actually came in on the opposite side of the first diagnosis, and it's a different mutation. Is that correct?
Close. It is, they both affected the same breast. So what happened was in 2013, I knew my family history when I was first diagnosed with estrogen positive or HER2 positive cancer. And that was a more rapidly growing, more aggressive type of cancer with a lot of cocktails to fix it. And with that one, I thought that's what my mom had. I thought for sure that anything beyond going forward would be the same type of cancer. Sure. But in 2016, we found out that because of the gene mutations, it gave me, on my dad's side, it gave me a completely different type of cancer, which was triple negative, which what that means is it's not as fast growing, but there's not as many cocktails to fight it. Okay. But it was in the same breast, which is unheard of, because you only have, after a mastectomy, you only have 4% chance of a reoccurring tumor in that breast. Well, I fell into the 4%.
Of course you did.
It's pretty much unheard of that you can be both triple negative and hormone positive. But that's me. And it's also unheard of to have two gene mutations. because there has been zero research completed to this date on how the mutations affect each other. All we do know is that these mutations create 5 to 8 different types of cancers.
Wow.
So if you take the odds on both, it's not good, but you just really can't focus on that because so far I have fallen into the small percentage of things that haven't been well. So I'm bound to fall into the small percentage of things that turn out right.
Well, and you know what I'd said through a conversation that you and I have had prior to this, and that is that sometimes it's okay to be rare because they keep a stronger pulse on what's happening with you.
Exactly.
I think that sometimes if you fall into just the regular old, yep, you know, they just kind of throw you into a bucket. You're kind of in your own bucket. And I don't think that that's a bad thing because I really do believe that they really do keep a closer eye on you because what they learn from you, who knows how many other women that they would be able to help. So I mean, like I said, I know sometimes it's not the best, but I do think that there is something positive to be said for that.
Oh, exactly. And to me, it just kind of matches the way I've felt my entire life. I have always felt a little bit different from a lot of people in the world just because I think I love a little bit more than most people. I feel a little bit more and I have a little bit more of a feisty humor. And,
yes, you do.
and I like to push the limits. And so for me, I mean, of course I'm unique in my cancer because I'm just very unique as a person as well. And,
that's right.
And I'm okay with that.
That's right. And I would be too. So that being said, describe to me the ways that you flipped this negative to a positive in the cancer world.
Okay. I had reached a point where I was losing my smile. When I first got diagnosed, I was in such shock because I was more of, how can this be? I'm on it. I do what I'm supposed to do. But it did. And that I couldn't change that reality. So what I did to begin with was my friend, I'm an extrovert, an extreme extrovert. I love people, all people. And so my friends decided to have a big party for me. We had about 1,000 people there. And, you know, it was just a really fun night. And it was right after my first chemo. So therefore, it was one of those where, you know, I just really needed to laugh. Because me not laughing that's like death.
Yes, yes, yes.
I have to laugh. That's how I live. And so I walked out of there that night going, wow, this was chemo yesterday, but this was one of my favorite nights of my life.
Wow.
And it was just amazing night. So I went home and got sick. I was sick for about a week. And then I got back up and I started going at it, and I would go into the chemo room. I would look around. I was young. Everybody was old. Mm-hmm. I was like at that time 40 years old, way too young to be here, in my opinion.
I agree.
Wiser, but and I realized that I wasn't the youngest person in the world, so get over yourself. But anyway, so I went in there and I started looking around going, wow, it's so sad. It's so lonely. It's, you know, you saw people that didn't have someone else to sit with. And to me, that's terrible.
Yes.
You should never go into chemo alone.
I agree.
And so I then decided, all right, we gotta spice this up. We gotta make this happy. We gotta make this be a place that you want to come to, not that you have to. I want to look forward to my chemo days. Weird, but that's me. So we decided, I called some friends of mine that, you know, because we always had a big group that went with me. And I called my friends and we started talking about how, like, you know what? I was having a hard time smiling. I needed to have fun with this. And one of my friends said, let's go in costume. And that's what we did. And we decided that each week we would make a theme and we would all show up in costume. We would make my oncologist wear one, or I would refuse to talk to him.
I love that.
And then we just kind of kept growing. The energy kept growing. So we had to keep going with it. And so little things started happening. Like people started donating food and treats to bring into the chemo room with me when I came. People we did a fundraiser at a local Beef O'Brady's here, and we used the money raised from that to pay the co-payments of other people that are coming in for treatment. Because, you got military guys, you've got police officers, you got all those good people, and they just couldn't. So we did. We've just really tried to take each situation and make a positive out of it.
That's awesome.
When Hello Gorgeous came into my life, I was not feeling very pretty, and I needed something, and I didn't know it was Hello Gorgeous I needed. It surely was, because I walked in there. I mean, I just rocked it bald just simply because I didn't want to be fake. And a wigs, really, they squeeze your brain. At least the cheap ones did. So when then Hello Gorgeous came in, and they just kind of made me feel like a woman again.
So tell us about that, because yours was not our typical makeover, but you were a recipient of a Hello Gorgeous makeover. And so explain to our listeners how that came to be.
Well, that was amazing. Absolutely amazing. I thought I was just going to a women's Notre Dame basketball game, which in itself was really cool. I mean, we had great seats. So I just thought it was something that our family was doing that day. It was the pink out. So I figured, okay, that's why my husband's bringing me here. And I'm going to be around a whole bunch of other women who understand how I feel. This is fantastic. I had no idea that I was going to have a makeover that day. So when they called my name, I was bald with a pink hat on and just regular clothes, like a t-shirt and jeans. And they called my name, and we went into this back room. It was an amazing makeover. My daughter was part of it with me. She got to sit there and see just all the positives that can really happen in a negative situation. Mm-hmm. And that's something I always preach to my kids was, no matter how bad it is, someone's always got it worse. Mm-hmm. No matter how hard it can be at times, there's always something positive in it, and you really just have to find it.
That's right.
It is like, I wondered for a long time whether that was a choice or that was not, but it really is a choice.
It is a choice.
And, yeah.
I said it's like, God gives us free will. So what I've tried to really impart on Sethi, which you have done to your children too, which is it's 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it.
Exactly.
It really is. The fun part about your makeover, which made it unique. So yes, you're right. We took you into a small room and we did your makeover, and then we did a reveal for you in front of a crowd of like 10,000.
Yes. It was the most amazing thing, because after the makeover, I thought, oh, okay, I'm pretty. Like, oh, this feels great. And then we walked out and then into the court of the Notre Dame court. And I was able to dance to Pretty Woman with your daughter. In the middle of Notre Dame's basketball court with, who knew at the time, I had so many friends and family surrounded in the stands that I didn't even know about. Yeah. I mean, it was truly like a life-changing day for me, because everything that I was experiencing and going through kind of made it worth it, just to be able to dance, to be pretty, and to have a wig that didn't squeeze my brain, and I got to dance in a Notre Dame court.
Right.
How amazing is that?
So what role would you say did Hello Gorgeous play in your life? Because literally we were with you for like 3 hours that day, and that was it. So what role did that experience play in your life?
Oh, it was absolutely huge. And it was because, how do I even begin to explain this? I've always been so peppy and like fun-spirited, extroverted. So my friends and family are not used to me being sad. That's not something that they understand. It's not, I'm a very confident person. So seeing me insecure is just, it's bizarre.
Yes.
And so when Hello Gorgeous came in, I had given up on things that made me feel pretty. I gave up on eyelashes. I couldn't care about hair anymore. I was content in my t-shirt and jeans because at that point in time I couldn't teach, so I wasn't going anywhere besides ball games.
Right.
And it really looking back now, I realized how sad I was inside, how probably depressed I was inside. And how I really just didn't feel pretty. I felt like a monster. And then
that's a hard word.
Hello Gorgeous walks into my life. And you guys, you took me where I was at and you helped put all the fertilizer and the water in it and made it grow.
That's awesome.
So you came in at a pivotal point of, wow, there's no other woman here at 41 years old that's bald.
Right.
There's no one else here at 41 going through menopause. There's it just, but you guys accepted me for where I was at.
That's right.
Said, okay, let's grow. That's right. And really, I think that's a critical part because, and Kim, you and I talked about it that day. It's a Robin Williams quote. And I believe, I can't remember what movie it was in, but anyway, he had said something to the extent of, doctors, they can come in and they can fix your body, but unless, and they might win, they might lose. But if you treat the whole patient emotionally, right, physically, you're going to win all the time.
That's right.
And that's something that I really hold tight to me is, and especially on my dark days, because I got them. But I hold that tight that I just have to keep both. I have to keep my mental health strong and stable, and I have to keep my physical health strong and stable.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Because it really is, attitude is everything. And I have said that too. If you walk around and you're angry and it doesn't do anything to heal you. And you can't ignore what you're going through. You have to be able to accept it. But by the same token, it really is, if you have a good attitude about it, first of all, you're going to be happier along the way in the journey. But second of all, I really do believe that has a lot to do with who you are and how fast you heal. And, I certainly believe that it's played a role in your life.
Oh, so it's played a critical role. Yes.
Okay, so in 60 seconds, what advice would you give to help others cope with a new cancer diagnosis?
In 60 seconds. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'll make it real quick. If you, and I don't know if I can do this, but if you can, if you have a gut feeling, go for it. Find out. The worst thing in the world is you could find out that you're wrong and you're fine. So push the buttons. Don't let someone tell you that you are being emotional, or don't let someone tell you that you're just overly worried. No, there's a reason why you're worried. That's your body telling you something is wrong. Go find out what it is. The second thing I would say is, cancer, it sucks, but at the same time, it can bring a lot of blessings to your life. I've had such clarity on who my friends are, who I can count on, who will, at the end of the day, have my back no matter what. And I can't replace that. And really, we all get a little, a small amount of time here. We don't get forever.
That's right.
So pray for strength, pray for courage, pray for feistiness, and just keep going. Get up every day and find something good about the day. There's all kinds of great things happening.
That's right.
Yeah, and just keep going. Don't give up.
Keep going. Nope, and sometimes it's just a matter of putting one foot in front of the other. And if that's all you can do today is just, if your biggest accomplishment is that you made your bed today, that's okay. That's okay, because that's what you have to do.
Okay.
That's right. Well, awesome. Well, we are almost out of time, so I wanted to say thank you to Kristi for joining us today. I appreciate you taking the time out to speak with me and to share your story with us, and I'm sure that you have inspired so many of our listeners. If you have any questions or comments or would like to know more about the guests on our show, or for more information about Hello Gorgeous, feel free to contact me at kbecker@hellogorgeous.org, or visit our website at www.hellogorgeous.org. And we invite you to follow us on our Facebook and Instagram. Thank you so much for joining us today on Hello Gorgeous, Everything Beauty, Cancer, and Inspiration. I'm your host.
Another beautiful day, walking in the sunshine, spending the time with you. Last night we had a good time, dancing in the moonlight and loving the night away. I can't imagine what it'd be like. I can't imagine what it'd be like. I can't imagine what it'd be like without you. I can't imagine that.